Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly videos right here on my YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial, I'm teaching you a quick and inexpensive way to make your own hem guide templates. Alright, so these little hem templates come in really handy, and I'm just using a manila folder here. You can just grab an old one. What you're looking for is something that is a natural fiber, right? Like paper like this, but that is stiff enough to give you some type of a rigid edge so that you can cleanly fold over the fabric and use whatever lines on it or the width of the template itself as your actual guide. So let me show you. Here I have some samples, and you can make them whatever sizes you need them for depending on your project. If you make a lot of garments and you know that you tend to fold under your hem, say 1/4 of an inch and then 1 inch, then cut the appropriate ones that you need for your project. So here are a couple different sizes. I just label them for sure so you can know right when you look at it how wide the strip is. 2 inches here, 1 1/4, 3/4 here. Now for a lot of the little projects that I do, kind of like gift giving ideas, fabric napkins, little kind of cutesy home decor accessory type projects, I often will use one like this where I've just gone in and have measured 1/4 inch increments. So the first line is 1/4 of an inch, the second one 1/2 an inch, the third one 3/4, and this one 1 inch, okay? And I'll show you how I use this in a little bit. But first, let me show you how to cut up the manila folder so you can make your little hem templates here. So here's just an old folder. Obviously, you want to grab a straight edge ruler and a rotary cutter. And I'm just going to cut away some of these things, wherever there's like a curve or that it's not like a clean straight line. I'm just going to trim that stuff away. Alright, so that's one. Now I have a straight line there, and these sides are straight as well. I'm right-handed, so turn it around. And I'm just going to cut one at 1.5 inches wide. So this is 1.5 inches. And you see it's just like a long strip. I really like using the manila folders because I feel like the measurement here is just right for doing one chunk of the hem at a time. And this is about 11.5 inches, okay? So maybe a little bit bigger because it's supposed to be for 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. So it looks like it's 11 5/8, all right? Now, on this one I'll write 1.5 inches. And this is the one that I have. Now, if you wanted to do the multiple lines like I do, I will often just cut a wider chunk just because it may make it easier to work with, and you don't have to run the risk of burning yourself with the iron when you're pressing it over, okay? So here's this one. Now from either straight edge, I'm just going to measure in 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and just draw these lines. Now you do want to go in a little bit smaller with the ruler than 1/4 of an inch because remember, to make it really precise, you need to take account of the width of whatever the marking pen is that you're using. I'm using a ballpoint pen, so it's not quite as thin as if I use something else, but it will work fine. So there's 1/4 inch. Come in another 1/4 inch and draw my 1/2 inch line. And you can label those marks if you want to, but by looking at them, you should know what they are. They're 1/4 inch increments from each other. All right, so now I want to show you something else because I do like to give you options. Now if you don't have a manila folder, you can use something like tag board. Cardstock may or may not work depending on the weight of the cardstock, but notice this is a little bit stiff. You want something like this versus just a regular sheet of paper, okay? Now the reason we're using a natural fiber is because we are going to use this to hem under the fabric, and you're going to press right over this. So if it's any type of a synthetic like plastic or acrylic, it's going to melt and you're going to mess up your project and your iron. Now another option may be, if you're in a pinch and you don't have a manila folder or like cardstock, you can try something like a really thin cardboard. This is probably a little too thick because you'll see that this is way thicker than having just the manila folder. So you do need to account for the fact that you're going to have this thickness added onto the allowance that you're allowing for the hem, okay? So keep that in mind as well. But you can get it done with something like this because it's cardboard, it's a natural fiber, and it's not going to melt on you. But ideally, get something again that's paper, some type of stiffer product that's natural fiber that will withstand the heat of the iron and is as thin as you can get it, all right? So now let's grab our ironing board and an iron, and I'll show you how this works. So sometimes you come across a pattern or project and it'll tell you fold it under 1/2 inch and then another 1/2 inch. So sometimes if you try to eyeball that, if you're not very precise, you'll notice that the hem will be different, or as you're stitching, you'll see that you'll have more fabric and it won't be as crisp as you'd like. So here's how you would use it with this manila hem guide, okay? So here's our edge. We need to fold it under 1/2 inch and then another 1/2 inch. Well, 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch is 1 inch. So let's use the 1 inch increment first. So I'm gonna place this here, and I know that the last line I did is my 1 inch. So I'm going to fold, and I'm bumping this all the way in there, okay, to wherever I'm folding it, making sure that it's right along that line. So push in that template so that when you pull the fabric up and over, it reaches that 1 inch line. And you can run your finger up the side, you'll see if it's right there or not. So that's what you want to do. Then take your iron and give it a press. And I'm pulling it over but still holding that template in there, okay? Because I want that crisp finish. So just give it a press. We'll open it, okay? And now use the 1/2 inch mark. Bring it into where it meets 1/2 inch only. So see what I did? Now we've split that 1 inch that we initially did in half. So there it is, right up to the edge. There we go. Nice and crisp. And this will for sure make it so that you have your 1/2 inch. And if you look closely, you'll see where that other fold line is. It's right under there. Do you see kind of the shadow of that? I think you can see that on camera. And that is the second fold. So there's the first 1/2 inch, and there's the second. And it lays perfectly flat. It's going to be nice and even so that when you do go to the sewing machine and stitch this down, you'll get a nice, precise hem like this. Alright, so that's it for this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own manila folder hem guide templates. Now, if you're not quite into making your own clothes but still want to give these a try to see if it's something that you want to use in your future sewing projects, click the graphic right there, and that will take you to a great beginner project on where I show you how to make some cute fabric napkins with these perfectly mitered corners. And in order to get them all crisp and perfect like that, I definitely use my hem guide templates here. So if you're interested in that, click that picture right there. That will take you straight to that video tutorial. Otherwise, I thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit it with the thumbs up below and share it with your crafty friends across the different social media sites. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.